The keys felt heavier than they should have in Thorne St. James's calloused palm. Brass gleaming under the crystalline chandeliers of the Ashford's lobby, attached to a leather fob embossed with the building's name in elegant script that spoke of old money and older secrets. He stood on marble floors so polished they could have doubled as mirrors, watching his reflection fracture and multiply in the veined stone beneath his work boots, boots that left faint tracks of construction dust no matter how carefully he'd wiped them in his truck.
Mr. St. James?
The concierge's voice sliced through his reverie, crisp, professional, the kind of courtesy that came with a hefty price tag folded into every tenant's monthly rent. The young man couldn't have been older than 25, wearing a suit that probably cost more than Thorne's monthly truck payment, his name tag reading James in the same elegant script as the key fob.
Yeah, I'm Thorne St. James.
Is everything satisfactory with 4A? The previous tenant left the espresso machine and the bedroom furniture. Building management had everything deep cleaned, of course.
It's great, really.
Thorne shifted his duffel bag to his other shoulder. The bag held everything he'd need for the first night: sheets, towels, toiletries, a change of clothes for tomorrow's job site. The rest of his possessions, what few remained after Jennifer had taken her half in the divorce, were still in his truck parked in the building's underground garage where monthly spots cost more than his first apartment's rent.
Excellent. The building directory is in your welcome packet. Gym access code, package room, emergency contacts. Trash chutes are at the end of each hallway. Recycling is separated. There's a guide. The roof terrace is accessible from the 8th floor, though we ask residents to observe quiet hours after 10 p.m.
Got it.
And of course, if you need anything at all, electrical issues, maintenance, concerns about neighbors, we're available 24/7. Welcome to the Ashford, Mr. St. James. We're glad to have you.
The elevator was the old kind, pre-war elegance, brass cage door that folded like an accordion, mahogany paneling that had probably witnessed a century of residents coming and going. It groaned upward with mechanical precision that reminded Thorne of his grandfather's pocket watch, all gears and certainty. He watched the numbers climb above the door, brass numerals against black enamel. 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth floor, his floor now. The doors opened with a soft chime that sounded expensive. The hallway stretched before him like something from a film about people whose problems involved inheritance disputes and summer homes. Cream-colored walls, brass sconces throwing amber light across plaster that had probably been mixed with horsehair and prayer back when this building was new. Crown molding, wainscoting. The kind of architectural details that developers had stopped bothering with sometime around 1960. Apartment 4A was at the end, tucked into the northwest corner. Through the window at the hallway's end, he could see Manhattan spreading out like a circuit board, all lights and geometry and the organized chaos of 8 million people living on top of each other. Thorne unlocked the door, smooth, silent tumblers, nothing like his last place in Queens where you had to jiggle and curse and occasionally threaten the lock with a hammer. The door swung open on hinges that had been recently oiled, revealing darkness and possibility. He found the light switch by muscle memory. Electricians always knew where to look, and the apartment blazed to life, empty, echoing. Hardwood floors the color of honey stretching toward floor-to-ceiling windows that framed the city like it was art. The living room was bigger than his entire last apartment. The kitchen gleamed with stainless steel and marble countertops, an island in the center with bar seating, cabinets that closed with the soft pneumatic hiss of German engineering. To the left, a hallway, bedroom, bathroom, the walk-in closet James had mentioned, bigger than most people's bedrooms. To the right, more windows, a small dining area, built-in bookshelves that currently held nothing but dust motes dancing in the light from the street. It was perfect. It was lonely as hell. Thorne dropped his duffel bag by the door and walked to the windows, boot heels loud against hardwood. Somewhere down there, 8 million people were living there Friday nights, having drinks, fighting with lovers, making up, breaking up, eating dinner, missing dinner, scrolling through phones, pretending to be happy, actually being happy. The whole messy spectrum of human existence, compressed into 302 square miles of ambition and dreams and disappointment. And here he was, 34 years old, divorced for 3 years, living in a place he couldn't really afford because his business partner thought it would look good on invoices. His phone buzzed against his hip. He pulled it out, already knowing who it would be: Margot. His sister's name glowed on the screen beneath a photo of her making a stupid face at last Thanksgiving, turkey leg in hand, their mother laughing in the background.
Hey, Marg.
Did you move in? Please tell me you moved in and didn't chicken out.
Just walked in.
And? Is it gorgeous? Do you have a doorman? Tell me you have a doorman. I want to visit and have someone in a uniform open doors for me.
There's a concierge.
Oh my God, that's even better. Like a hotel. You're basically living in a hotel. Send pictures. I want to see everything. The kitchen, the bathroom, the view. Especially the view.
Thorne walked back to the windows, phone cradled against his shoulder, and looked out at Manhattan.
You can see the Chrysler building from here.
Shut up!
I'm serious.
Thorne St. James. If you don't send me pictures in the next 5 minutes, I'm coming over there right now, and I don't care that I'm covered in someone else's blood.
You're not coming anywhere. You're at work.
Fine, but pictures. I mean it. Listen, I gotta go. Bike versus taxi, and the bike lost spectacularly. But I'm proud of you, okay? You worked your ass off for this. You deserve it.
Thanks, Marg.
I mean it. After everything with Jennifer, after the bankruptcy, after rebuilding the business from scratch, you earned this. Don't let yourself forget that. Love you, big brother. Try to meet some neighbors, rich neighbors, the kind who need expensive electrical work, and tell their rich friends about you.
That's not why
I know, but it wouldn't hurt. Okay, actually going now. Patience crashing. Send pictures.
She hung up before he could respond. Thorne stood there for a moment, phone in hand, looking at the lock screen, a photo of him and Margot at their mother's funeral 2 years ago. They were both smiling, which seemed wrong in retrospect, but their mother had specifically requested no sadness at her funeral, so they had. He pocketed his phone and started unpacking. It didn't take long. 3 years post-divorce, he'd learned to travel light. Clothes went in the walk-in closet, though they barely filled a quarter of the space. Toiletries in the bathroom, a bathroom with a rainfall shower and heated floors and a mirror that probably cost more than his first car. Laptop on the kitchen counter, plugged in to charge. The espresso machine the previous tenant had left was a Breville professional grade, the kind of thing Thorne had always wanted but could never justify buying. He'd justify it now. He lived here. This was his apartment, his life, his fresh start. By 11 p.m., the apartment looked less like a showroom and more like someone actually lived there. Not much. He didn't own much, but enough. A jacket hanging by the door, shoes lined up in the closet, his toothbrush in the bathroom cup, small declarations of presence, of belonging, of this is mine now. He was in the bedroom, setting up his alarm clock on the nightstand, an ancient digital thing with red numbers that he'd had since college, when he heard it. Laughter. Female, light, genuine, coming from the other side of the wall. Thorne froze, alarm clock still in hand, plug dangling toward the outlet. The wall was right behind where his bed would go. Cream-colored plaster, smooth, probably 18 inches thick given the building's age. Pre-war construction was solid, heavy. You shouldn't be able to hear through these walls, but he could.
Told him that? Oh my God, Sloan, you didn't.
A pause. She was on the phone. Thorne should move. Go to the living room, turn on the TV, unpack something else. Anything but standing here listening to his neighbor's phone conversation. He didn't move.
No, I know. But it was so satisfying watching his face when…
The laughter cut off abruptly. Another voice, deeper, male, muffled, like it was coming from farther away in the apartment next door.
I'm on the phone, Julian.
The woman's voice had changed. Still polite, but colder now, guarded. The warmth from 30 seconds ago, completely gone, like someone had flipped a switch. The male voice said something Thorne couldn't make out. Questioning, probably. Demanding.
I'll be off in a minute, just… Fine, yes, fine.
Silence. Then quieter, back into the phone.
I have to go. Yeah, I know. Talk tomorrow.
She hung up. Thorne stood there, alarm clock still in his hand, feeling like he just eavesdropped on something private, which he had. Completely accidentally, but still. The walls were solid, yet he could hear her conversation, which meant she could probably hear everything he did, every footstep, every phone call, every moment of his life, laid bare for the stranger on the other side of 1.5 feet of plaster. The thought made him uncomfortable in a way he couldn't quite name. He should probably get rugs, heavy ones, maybe put some furniture against this wall, create a buffer. Through the wall, footsteps, heels on hardwood sharp and precise, a door closing, bathroom maybe, water running. Thorne finished plugging in his alarm clock, set it for 5:30 a.m., and tried very hard not to think about the fact that somehow the wall is an intercom between apartments. The water shut off next door. More footsteps. Then, distantly, the male voice again, louder this time, angry.
Ridiculous, Violette. I'm gone for 2 days and you can't even…
Thorne's hand stilled on the alarm clock. Violette. Her name was Violette.
Don't start, Julian. Please. Not tonight. I'm tired. I had a long day. Can we just…
Not tonight? When then? You're never available, never present. You're married to that goddamn company.
I'm COO of a billion-dollar corporation. What do you expect?
Thorne should definitely leave. Go to the living room, put in headphones. This was none of his business. This was someone else's relationship drama, their private fight, their…
I expect my girlfriend to act like she gives a damn.
I do give a damn. I've been at the office for 14 hours today, Julian. 14 hours fixing the disaster your friend Marcus made with the Dubai contract. Do you have any idea what it's like trying to negotiate with investors who think they've been lied to? I'm exhausted. I'm stressed. And the second I walk through that door, you're on me about not being present enough?
Maybe if you weren't such a frigid…
Get out.
The words cracked through the air like a gunshot. Silence. Terrible stretched silence.
What?
Get out. Now. I'm done. I'm so fucking done with you.
You don't mean that.
I mean every word. Get your things and get out of my apartment.
Vi!
I said get out.
Footsteps. Heavy. Male. Storming across hardwood toward what must be the front door. The sound of something being grabbed. A jacket maybe, or a bag.
You'll regret this, Violette.
The only thing I regret is wasting 2 years on you.
A door slamming. So hard the wall actually vibrated against Thorne's palm. He'd been standing with his hand pressed against the plaster without realizing it, like he could somehow offer support through sheer proximity. Then nothing. Silence so complete it was almost worse than the shouting. Thorne stood frozen in his empty bedroom, heart hammering for reasons he couldn't quite name. He'd just heard a relationship end through a wall. A stranger's relationship. A woman he'd never met, whose face he'd never seen, whose name was apparently Violette, and whose ex-boyfriend was apparently named Julian, and who worked as COO of something worth $1 billion. He waited for more sounds, crying maybe, or angry pacing, or phone calls to friends, the kind of things people did after breakups. But there was only silence. Thorne forced himself to move, walked to the bathroom on legs that felt strange and disconnected, brushed his teeth, the bathroom acoustics making the sound of bristles against enamel seem obscenely loud, changed into sweats and an old college t-shirt, climbed into bed, a bed he'd assembled 3 hours ago, whose headboard was pressed against the same wall where Violette, whoever she was, had just told Julian to get out of her life. The sheets were new, Egyptian cotton, a gift from Margot for the new apartment. They smelled like plastic packaging and fresh starts. Thorne lay there, staring at the ceiling, at the shadows cast by city lights filtering through blinds he hadn't bothered to close yet. This high up, the light pollution was constant. Manhattan never really got dark, just shifted from harsh daylight to the softer glow of 10 million light sources competing for attention. Through the wall so faint he almost missed it, the sound of crying. Soft, private, careful. The kind of crying someone does when they think no one can hear, when they're trying to be quiet, trying to hold it together, trying not to disturb the neighbors. But Thorne heard. He heard everything. He lay there in his new apartment, in his new bed, in his new life, and listened to a stranger cry herself to sleep on the other side of a wall that might as well have been made of paper. At 11:47 p.m., the crying finally stopped. At midnight, Thorne was still awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering what kind of person he was becoming. The kind who listened to strangers cry? The kind who felt guilty about it but did it anyway? The kind who already knew he'd do it again tomorrow night, and the night after, and the night after that, because something about that crying had hooked itself into his chest and wouldn't let go. He didn't know, but he had a feeling he was about to find out. Outside his windows, Manhattan glittered and hummed, indifferent to one woman's tears and one man's uncomfortable proximity to them. Welcome to the Ashford. Welcome to apartment 4A. Welcome to your new life, Thorne St. James. Try not to fuck it up.
Thanks for listening, and please subscribe so you don't miss an episode.
And for early access and bonus episodes, become a Patreon supporter today.